Welcome to the second edition of the Outlook Money Insurance Summit. The topic of discussion is the rise of bite-sized insurance and the utility. And we have with us eminent industry leaders, Anand Roy, Managing Director at Star Health and Allied Insurance, Bhargav Dasgupta, Managing Director and CEO at ICICI Lombard General Insurance, and Tapan Singhel, Managing Director and CEO, Bajaj Allianz General Insurance. A very happy new year to all of you, and thank you so much for joining me for this discussion. So bite-sized insurance is something that is very new for the insurance industry, and with the advent of digitization, it has got a major leg up in the last 2 years. And it has opened up interesting avenues of providing a cover across the landscape of general insurance. But it also leads to the fear that, somewhere in this rush to buy low ticket, immediate use kind of policies, the focus will go away from the importance of comprehensive covers. But starting the discussion about these policies that are really the talk of the town in the insurance sector right now, I'll throw the first question to all of you is, what do you think is behind the rise of this kind of insurance? Maybe Bhargav, you could start with that.
Yeah, thanks, Nidhi, and thank you for having us here. While there is a lot more talk about bite-size insurance now, as you rightly identified, there is a lot more awareness and maybe even advertisement. But actually, bite-size insurance policies have been there at a smaller scale. I remember back in 2006 or 7, we had launched a 50 rupee, outpatient policy for the rural markets, part of our social outreach initiative program. Of course, it hadn't kind of scaled into the urban markets at that point in time. And I think the point that you're making about, this becoming quite popular now is, as I said, because of maybe the advent of 2 or 3 things. One, the digital distribution, which makes it easy to, relatively easy and lower cost to sell these products. Second is, I would say, a large number of fintech players, payment companies, aggregators, BNPL companies, who are looking to attach, contextual policies to their customers to increase, the relationship depth with their customers. So that I would say would be the second major reason, apart from the digitization. But the need was always there, and I think it's just that some of these changes that has happened in the ecosystem is helping us do more with these kind of products in the market.
Okay. Anand and Tapan, would you like to add something to this? What is leading to this kind of rise of bite-sized insurance, according to you?
Anand, you go in first, after you.
Sure. I will just concur with what Bhargav mentioned. The concept is not new. I remember also way back we started off with travel insurance. Was also a type of a bite-sized product, where people could buy insurance for exactly the number of days they would travel, as compared to what used to be earlier a package policy which was predefined. So I think bite-size concept has always been there, but now with the onset of a lot of online e-commerce and stuff, I think there is a opportunity to cross-sell and attach relevant insurance coverages along with the products that customers are buying online. So I think it has become more popular now, of course. But yes, the bite-size product concept has always been prevalent in the insurance industry, not so largely as it is right now.
Yeah. Okay, Tapan, like Anand mentioned, I think it's also to do with the advent of e-commerce companies like, these your Olas and Ubers, with which you are seeing these policies attached. Do you really think those are also a nudge towards these?
So first, understand this, that are people buying bite-size insurance or is it bundle? Before we get into that, is it really taking off, or is it the new thing or the new normal happening? See, one of the dilemmas for the insurance industry has been across ages that people don't get up to buy insurance. So I think most of the insurance that, let's say if I talk about general insurance being sold, is what is mandatory either by bankers or by law, or which is a requirement. And health obviously has picked up pretty good now, which is not mandatory, but people feel the need of it and they see the high new cost happening. So that's picking up. So bite size to me has been very interesting. A lot of it is bundled. I think the customer just gets it. If you ask 10 customers that do you know that you got an insurance with this ride of yours, they're surprised to see if 9 of them say yes, I'm aware, and I consciously took it. But there's some bite-size insurance which actually has taken off. Let's say the mobile insurance. Again, the need, like I mentioned, health insurance took off because people realize the need of it, and they felt that they should have a good health cover because it makes a difference, when you see this huge hospitalization cost happening. Mobile insurance, again, I've seen that people see the need of it because mobiles do break and they find that they're able to, otherwise it's too expensive, and a lot of people buy fancy mobiles and very expensive ones, and they see that going on. So there I've seen people consciously buy. But in like most insurance products, I've seen bite-sized also. Most of it still goes as a bundle. Some of it conscious pickup has happened. Now, leaving that aside, it's a new distribution which has come through because of the ease. And you can sell the small ticket size without the cost of selling it. Let's say in earlier times, like Bhargav mentioned or Anand mentioned, that bite size is not new. There were enough policies. I think not even in 2000. I remember in early 90s also, 1986 also, you had all this PA policies and all. And even today, a personal accident policy for 1 lakh cover, death only, cost you 40 rupees a year. Is it not bite size and such a amazing kind of product? Then what else will it be bite size? It's always there. But then to sell a 40 rupees policy with a distribution which was not digital that time, it would not happen because of the distribution cost required. So with the advent of e-commerce, with the advent of digitalization, with this, obviously, small ticket size products can be sold now, and they're viable because you don't have to spend so much on distribution on that basis. So it's a phenomena which is going to stay, it's going to get powerful over time, Niti. But it is also evolving like other lines of businesses, and that is my view on this.
But also, I would like to ask you, gentlemen, but what about, you are saying that distribution has become perhaps easier because they're coming bundled with other services. But what about, I take a bite-size insurance perhaps for a trip to the airport, and I don't face any challenge the next time, because so many times it happens that you book a ticket and you don't take travel insurance. A lot of times, most of us don't click on that option of taking travel insurance, especially if it's a domestic. But do you think that this can be sustainable in the long run, as in people will get used to it? Because this whole thing of renewal distribution there is no direct phase that is making you understand that you might need it or you may not need it. It is up to you, your decision, whether you are going to take it up or not. So do you think it can translate into a habit?
Tapan, you want to go first? Reverse the order.
Thank you, Bhargav. Yeah, so I think what excites us is that for us, the biggest challenge is not about products. I think insurance industry has amazing products. Honestly, I've been in awe of the product the industry has, not because I'm part of the industry, but it's amazing with the price they offer. The challenge has been the need and awareness of it, because these are low frequency and high impact event, and people don't think it will happen to them. That is a challenge for industry. So the way we look at it is the more people get used to having insurance, and they may or may not have exhausted it or taken a claim out of it, which is not the purpose behind that everybody has to take a claim only, then they should start accepting it. But the more they see things happening around them, let's say when you saw COVID happen, people really bought COVID policies. I think it started shooting up. When people see things happening around them, and they know that these are the means through which they can get an insurance, on the fly, really wherever they're going. Let's say travel insurance. A lot of people delist it, which is actually interesting. If you look at the cost of the travel insurance on any website, it's about 100 rupees plus. You're paying a ticket for 8,000 rupees. But for the 100 rupees, we will either take out the tick box and not do it. But fundamentally, we think about it. If you pay 100 rupees more also, you're ready to pay for, let's say, 250 rupees for a cup of tea in a flight. Sometimes I tell people jokingly that we should carry our own tea bags with us, ask for hot water, and you have it, instead of paying 250 rupees for a cup of tea there. But for 100 rupees insurance, we will de-take it. So I think the way I look at it, the more such kind of initiatives happen, the more customers are aware about it. They may or may not feel the need of it, but as awareness level goes up, as people see it and they read more about it, these things will pick up. So it has its own journey, Nidhi. So I don't think that there's something that we should worry about renewals not happening. I don't think that we should worry about people de-ticking. We should make this continuous effort of creating awareness. We should make this continuous effort of offering amazing products to the customers of high value to them. And then, I think as time progresses, these things pick up. So that's my view on that, Nitin.
Okay, so Anand, what do you think? Is it really a utility-based? Are these really utility-based products, and people will take it up? Like Tapan is saying that eventually the uptake will increase as awareness increases, etc.
Absolutely, I totally agree. Because see, um, people are realizing that people are buying more expensive stuff. People are taking more trips, and bite-size insurance is, as both Bhargav and Tapan have mentioned, it's a contextual in nature. When you're actually purchasing something and you feel the need to protect that purchase that you're making, and here is an offering which is very, very reasonably priced, and you don't mind adding that on as an add-on. So I think that's the context. But from a I come from a pure play health insurance background. So from a health insurance point of view, bite size is not something which is very, very relevant, because I believe at a health insurance concept, or even for that matter for a life insurance, and the protection plans should be comprehensive in nature. Because see, at the end of the day, you want to give something which the customer will actually derive the true benefit out of it. Okay, there's no point in selling something for a very short period or for a context, and when there is a need for the insurance, it doesn't serve its purpose. I'm talking about health and in general. So I think bite size in health insurance is not very, very relevant as far as I am concerned. But what is more relevant is how can we make the premium bite sized, okay, to the customer, so that they look at the product as a bite sized product. So can we offer them an premium payments and installments? Can we bring all this new technology like BNPL and all of that on the health platform, so that eventually it becomes a bite-sized purchase for the customer, but all the same time getting a comprehensive coverage. I think that's how I look at it from a health insurance point of view.
So yeah, please go ahead.
No, I was saying, just to complete the thought process, picking up on what Tapan said. I think one of the beauty of general insurance is that we can conceptually cover every type of risk that a consumer perceives. And as life, business, society becomes more complex, new type of risks emerge. And really, it's an opportunity for us as an industry to create products which address those risks in a manner that consumers find value, which is the point that Tapan was making. And if you look at, adding to that point, if you look at I think the cultural mindset of India has been traditionally a society where family comes in to support you, right? And as you become more urban, more nuclear, I think people begin to realize that you need to fend for yourself as well. I mean, you can, of course, all of us depend on family for many things, but you do need to fend for yourself. And as society progresses, people think of protecting themselves from some of these, new age risks. Just to talk about a couple of new things, for example, let's say cyber. Tapan talked about mobile, very, very relevant. I mean, 10 years back, that wasn't a relevant category of product in a sense, right? Because there was no need to buy, there was no mobile phones in that sense, smartphones at that time, and you didn't need to protect it. Today, if you look at it, cyber insurance, the exposure and the risk wasn't there 10 years back. Today it is there, and you need to protect yourself. So I think it's really a beautiful industry in a sense that we can actually cater to very, very new emerging types of risks, and we have to do it in a manner that is contextual. It's easy to understand, maybe initially a bit inexpensive, so that people start exploring and using them. And as people do that, the awareness spreads, and people end up buying more and more products as society changes.
Okay, so another thought that comes to my mind regarding bite size is that when it comes to the rural and semi-urban areas, or you could call it Tier 3, Tier 4, or even Tier 2 cities. I mean, especially the low-income groups, the small ticket size is something that may attract them, even in health insurance, even in other general insurance categories. But the other challenge is that a lot of these policies are also, since they are bundled with, say, e-commerce platforms and others, there's an element of digitization attached to them to a large extent. So, but there may be digitization challenges in these areas, the categories that I was mentioning. So how does that gap how does that come together in terms of servicing of insurance or servicing of these kind of products to these kind of segments? So anyone could take this question, please?
I think we reverse the order again, Bhargav, if you
Let's follow that as a norm. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Sure.
So yeah, Nidhi, I think that's a great point. And as I started, all of us have had products, and we had done some experimentation in the rural market. Exactly the point that you're making. And rural market is a segment where you have to make it more affordable. I mean, the entire market is potentially just a bite-sized market. But it is, in my mind, a fallacy that digitization and digital payments is not prevalent in the rural markets. At least our experiences today, almost 50 to 60% of payments that we are seeing from the rural markets is digital payments. There are other, distribution models that are emerging. Riding on existing, models. For example, the government CSC platform, right? So the CSC platform is a very interesting outreach program from the insurance perspective, to use an existing platform to again provide very low cost insurance policies. And these could be standard, motor vehicles or tractor or small ticket personal accident or small ticket health policies. Most of the processes are completely digitized just to ensure that the cost is minimized. Otherwise, you can't afford to do it. So actually, it's happening. What you have to do is, again, think of the customer at the end of the day, design the product that is easy to understand, consume, and claim, so that the experience is positive and you build a positive awareness on the ground. So my experience is that, even for the rural market, digital, that bite-size insurance is becoming very, very popular. Not the same type of bite-size insurance that is prevalent in the urban markets, but products that are relevant for the rural markets.
Yeah, just to add to that, I think totally agree, because see, the key is the relevance. Okay, keeping the customer at the end of the, that's keeping them at the center of the entire offering, because rural does not mean the aspirations are lower. Okay, the rural markets have very high aspirations. They are looking forward to getting the best, treatments or best facilities or best services what other large cities are getting. So I think, the bite size is totally contextual, and it is not market relevant. It is more, on the purchase journey, what the customer is looking forward to. And in that context, I think what we have to do today is, to increase the penetration of health insurance. I think bite-sized products are a great beginning, because at least at the younger age group, we see that people look at these products more from, understanding what insurance can actually cover, because insurance, as both the panelists mentioned here, can cover almost everything today in India. And I think that's a very, very good entry into the world of insurance for the younger age segment, especially people who are, using these platforms on the e-commerce sites and all of that, and probably try to cross-sell more comprehensive products to them as we go along, so that, they become more protected in the true sense of the, the word. And I think that's the way we have to look at this bite-sized products.
Okay. Tapan, you want to weigh in on this?
Yeah, Nidhi, I think first and foremost, and Bhargav did allude to that to say that district savviness is not there in the rural side or no in the strata, which is as we call upcoming, is wrong. Because I think if you just check with at least my domestic health is on Facebook, my vehicle vendor is on Facebook, and we look at rural India also. I think we do a lot of business there. Most people are on Facebook, and if I look at the sale of Amazon, Flipkart is more in the tier 2, tier 3 than in tier 1. If I look at the bigger brands being sold, it's more in the smaller towns. So I think India has changed a lot from what we think and what we still have a view on. So obviously, like Anand also mentioned, that the aspirations are there. Now it's up to the industry. How do we cater to that, which is relevant, and contextual from that perspective. More than catering to products, how do we service the claims? I think that is what is very, very critical. The infrastructure to service the claims is what the industry is doing a job. Bhargav did mention about CSC. I think CSC is an amazing infrastructure setup, and the government collaboration of the amount of government businesses happening, be it crop insurance, be it the government health business, the reach is there and the servicing is happening, and people are experiencing claims now. Infrastructure is getting created. So for me personally, I feel that if 5 years from now we have a panel like this and all of us are here again, this question would not have relevance because the market would actually have become very, very interesting, very big, and very, very, powerful in its own way. Because if the creation is happening, like I was mentioning to you, Nidhi, and people have wealth. It is not they don't have wealth, and people like Anand have set up a strong infrastructure for health in the smaller towns and cities. No, the build-up is happening, Nidhi. So we just have to wait and watch, and I think the industry is working on it, and we shall see more of it happening. And bite size will also happen in the places, but right now it's mostly government driven, and you have this smaller two-wheeler vehicles and all which is happening. But why not for a agriculture pump set, a bite side insurance? No, why not for a small like a 3 month or 2 month crops? Small like strawberry crop. Why should not be? Which is to the vagaries of nature. Why should not there be a crop? Small bite side insurance. So potential is there, and I'm very hopeful, very sure that this is actually going to take up pretty well.
Okay. So one thing that you mentioned, Mr. Singhel, was claims. So what is the claims scenario as of now? Because I understand that this market is not very huge as of now. It's still in its initial stages, though it has started ahead for the past couple of years. But what about the claim settlement? Is there any, is there satisfaction at that level? Because these are small, and these are, a lot of times, maybe, I take a bite-sized insurance, but maybe because the, amount is small, maybe I don't need it exactly at that time. How many customers are actually coming back to make those claims, and how much of it is really getting settled also?
Yeah, Nidhi, I think first and foremost, let me talk about the industry, a small hurt of the industry, and then I'll come to the specific question that you have. If you look at the hurt of the industry's combined ratio for now 16 years, I'm not wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, Bhargav, it's been close to 115 to 120%. To give you just a rough idea of combined ratio, it means for every 100 rupees the industry takes, 120 is the outgo. No? And for even amazing big e-commerce companies, which we hear are so customer-centric, they lose 5 to 6 to every 100. Here the industry losing 15, 20. That means they're paying claims through the nose. Still, people have a lot of view on the industry that no, they don't pay claims. So I thought just park this point here. The industry pays claims very, very well, and it pays it very, very gracefully also. So out of 100 customers,
the claim settlement figures was really, good this time. The IDI report that came in December.
So always so, Nidhi. I think it's been the whipping boy of everybody, of the media houses, of the ministers. So I think it's a bit unfortunate. That's why I'll take this forum.
Tapan, if I may weigh in and support the point that Tapan is making, because he'll move on to some other point. We had studied, not just we, as a global consultant had studied all the financial services sectors, the number of, let's say, bank account or policies or, customers, etc., and looked at the number of complaints. GI industry had the lowest percentage. But even though the claim number that we pay is very, very large. Anyway, back to you, Tapan, just to support the point.
Thank you, Bhargav. I think it's a very, very good point. So the point I should make is, Bhargav, that the industry pays amazing claims. 99.999% customers will be very happy with it. The point that Bhargav, the grievance ratio is it runs into like less than 1%, it's 0.0 something. I forgot the exact number. They're very happy. The ones who are dissatisfied because the industry is already whipping boy, and that makes a noise that this is not good. Now let's come to the bite-sized one. We have been one of the largest mobile insurer. I think we started very early on, and we can settle claims remotely. So it does not matter that the mobile, if damage, has to come to our office or somebody has to go for a survey there. If it's damaged remotely, we assess the claim and transfer the money to account. So claims do happen. Mobile claims do happen. Loss ratio in a mobile insurance is pretty high. It is not that the losses are low. And we all know, Nidhi, genuinely so many of our mobiles do get broken. Even we try our best to save it with a life. And there are so many jokes. There somebody fell down with a new iPhone. Then the question is not that did your bone crack or no, is the phone safe? People know. I think that is the kind of protection people have, but still it does happen. So claims do happen. Maybe in bite-sized insurance, it does happen. And I think, as I said, some categories in which it happens more frequently, some does not happen. Like a ride insurance would be a very low frequency, but very high severity. But for something like mobile insurance, it's very high frequency and it does happen. And the assessment happens remotely and the money gets transferred. You'll be surprised to know that the transfer of money can happen within just 30 minutes of the mobile getting broken, even if you are in the farthest part of the country where there's no access, but at least you can access the internet. If you can reach internet and you're in a place like that, like sitting on top of a mountain, internet connection is there, your claim will get settled. So I think most companies have built up this competence. So claim settlement is something, obviously, that is our main bread and butter. If we don't settle claims well, how can we be in the industry? So I think we do that, Nidhi.
Yeah. So no. So the idea was more to ask whether people are actually coming for claims rather
Yes.
than settlement.
When it
Also.
happens, they do. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So Anand, I wanted to ask you in terms of health insurance. So when you talk about breaking health insurance into bite-sized products later, what you talked about earlier about this concept of how bite-size can be brought into health insurance. How would you there is, when it comes to health insurance, there is a list of exclusions and medical medical tests and all that people have to go through to to be eligible for a certain claim or a certain policy or a certain product. How would you kind of marry the two together?
Yeah, so in the context of health insurance, see, as I told you, I am of the strong believer that the coverage should be comprehensive. The premiums can be bite-sized, can be made bite-sized. Okay, and I think that's the combination that will stick with our potential customers. But let's talk about the current scenario in health insurance and some of the products that were introduced, which will fall technically, let's say, in the bite-size segment. There are products which cover specific diseases. For example, dengue or chikungunya, or for that matter, there are products which covers OPD, treatments alone. And recently, in the current context of the pandemic, the industry did launch a product for the covering only corona specific, treatment. And I think that was really something which was in time. In the midst of a pandemic, the entire industry came together to offer a product to, to protect the society at large, which was very, vulnerable. And I think, these are the kind of things that the insurance industry and the general insurance industry in particular has done. But as far as health insurance is concerned, I strongly believe that, customers should look for a comprehensive coverage, and we will be able to make that coverage more palatable by making the premium bite-sized. I think that's what I would like to stick my argument on, because I do not believe, frankly, that a short period cover or a disease-specific cover for 2 months, 3 months is a proper protection being offered. And at the end of the day, insurance is a subject of protection. So we do not want to offer something that would be not available at the time of need, and I think that's what I would like to insist upon.
So Anand has been continuously raising this issue of comprehensive insurance, and that is one of my thoughts also. That Bhargav, do you think that bite-sized insurance in any way can kind of dilute this market or the need for comprehensive insurance, especially when it comes to health, even personal accident for that matter? Because that is also, which is a large cover in the bite-sized space. What are your views on that?
So let's look at different categories. I think what Anand is saying is very relevant in the health segment, which is, the segment that he's talking about. And if you look at the general insurance, multi-line general insurance companies, we provide health as also other categories of product. And going back to the point that I made, that there are different types of emerging risks that are there. And every single type of risk need not require a product which is very expensive. You can actually design products which are relatively cheap, and bite-size, and relevant for the context of the customer's risk. Let me give you a small example. I mean, in the same, you talk about personal accident. Personal accident anyway is a bite-sized product because the ticket size is very, very low. But
that's true.
But if you think about even a PA policy, when I'm traveling in a certain terrain, I want a policy for, let's say, 15 days, because that's the period that I think I'm at risk. Why shouldn't I, get a product like that? I don't see any issue with developing and providing such products to customers, because it's relevant and contextual for the customer. We have to put ourselves in the shoes of the customer and think about what is it that is relevant for the customer and design those products. Anand's point is absolutely valid. When you think about your health, you need to buy something comprehensive. But the types of risks that we cover in multi-line general insurance companies is multifarious. It's not just for health, it's across different categories. Cyber insurance, you may buy a policy which is even as low as 50 lakhs, 50 rupees, and you get a protection of 50,000 rupees. As a consumer, I'm happy with the protection of 50,000 rupees. That's good enough for me. If I want to buy a cover which gives me even higher protection, that's fine. Coming back to even health, I personally believe what bite-size insurance does is make people conscious and aware. There is an affordability issue across different stratas of society, and when you're first coming into that insurance consumption bracket as a consumer, you may want to experiment with smaller products, and then when you realize that this is not going to cover you for everything, that's in a sense a good entry point to buy the comprehensive products that Anand rightly talks about. So I think the moot point that I'm making is, horses for courses, different types of risks that customers have, different needs that customers have. We as an industry have to design products and give them in a manner that is easy to understand, consume, and claim. That's what our job is.
So is it also like something like what you're suggesting perhaps is like creating a menu which is a tasting menu so that consumers can go on with the full menu later to understand to understand insurance, the basics of insurance, what it can do to you, how it can protect you, and then go on for a comprehensive cover. Because even when it comes to these kind of trip insurance and these small kind of insurance policies, there is always this argument also that you could take a comprehensive travel insurance if you are a frequent flyer. Though
of course you can. Yeah. Absolutely, you're right. I mean, you can take a comprehensive cover, and we see people who buy covers for a longer period and pay a bit more premium on travel insurance specifically because they travel a few times in a year, and it makes sense for them to buy maybe a long-term cover. So your point is absolutely, I mean, it's making the same point that I'm making, that, I think it expands the pie. It, opens up the market for multiple, segments of customers. Young millennials who may otherwise wait till the age of 35 to buy health insurance may experiment with some small ticket covers. And that builds awareness, that builds connect with the insurance provider, and opens up the market, is my belief. And that's a positive.
So, but what has been the experience so far, Tapan? Maybe you could take that. Is it really working like that? That people are coming for these small insurance policies and understanding it and taking it forward to say a comprehensive policy or a policy that gives them wider coverage.
I think any answer to this would be too early to give. So I cannot say that we have seen a clear pattern about it. The point that Bhargav mentioned, the way you said the tasting menu, before the main, I think it's a very powerful point. See, somebody, and most people don't buy insurance at all. The insurance is not only under insurance, but under penetrated, and we all know about it. People don't buy it at all. Now, let's say if they get used to buying it and they start looking at it, then they obviously would think, why not this? And they can afford it. Somebody going on a 15-day trip, they must be spending at least 30,000-40,000 rupees, so they can pretty well afford something which is 405 rupees. So let's understand the difference between bite-size insurance and full-blown cover. I think that also is a very interesting point, Nidhi. We underestimate this. Like say bite-size insurance, talking of 10-20 rupees. A full-blown insurance may cost 500-700 rupees. A travel insurance policy. Or let's say what Anand is also talking about, also full-blown health cover, will cost 2,500 rupees. So the beauty is that we're not talking about a huge difference. Somebody spending about 50,000-60,000 rupees on a trip can afford a 2,500 full-blown cover also. If somebody's ready to pay 50-70 rupees for bite-size insurance. Now, let me give a personal example. Today, I may say that I'm over-insured, but I love to be over-insured. Once I understand the insurance products, any insurance product you can think about, I think we were the first to launch retail cyber insurance. My daughters bought the first 2 policies in India. Every policy you can think of, I'd be having it for myself. The moment you understand the beauty of insurance, I promise you, Nidhi, you will buy all these policies. We can afford it. They're not expensive policies. When you talk of full-blown, it's not like you're going to buy a very expensive product. You're talking a couple of thousand rupees, that's all, as a full-blown cover. And bite-size, you're talking of a couple of, like 100 or 50, 70 rupees. So once people start getting used to looking at insurance, I have a personal belief that they will go in for the full-blown cover. But do we have a pattern to give you the right answer right now? The answer is no. I think it is still emerging. As the pattern emerges, it should happen. But that is my belief, Nidhi.
So another thing that I wanted to ask you that, like you were saying, understanding of insurance is very important. But we do see that, a lot of people still do not understand a lot of insurance policies, let alone life and health, which are like the basic, even the general insurance, even motor for that matter, which is quite it's one of the most popular ones, because everybody has to buy motor before they can drive out the cars out of the showrooms. So when it comes to bite-size insurance, I know the ticket size is very low, so I might be low, but in terms of these insurance policies also do come with their own terms and conditions. They might be smaller on scale and compared to other policies and all. So how do you think that awareness, that gap can be filled? Any one of you can take this question, gentlemen.
You're absolutely right. I think enough has been said on the fact that customers don't understand, and I think we make a lot of effort. I know, Tapan we make in terms of trying to make it as easy and simple for the customer to understand. But it's a task. I think one of the advantages of some of these bite-sized products is that they are actually even more simpler than some of the comprehensive products. And when they're simpler, the benefits are very, very, if I can call it, almost binary. Event of this nature happens, you get a certain lump sum payment. If you look at insurance, there are two types of insurance, fundamentally two types of insurance. One is indemnification. So whatever is your extent of loss, we will reimburse that. And the second is benefit. Whatever may be your loss, I will pay you a fixed amount. The advantage of the bite-size insurance is most of them are largely benefit construct, as in you get a fixed amount of money in the event something, unfortunate happens, right? So let's say a vector-borne disease, you have a dengue cover of 50,000 rupees, you get dengue, we will pay you 50,000. You have a mobile insurance, the mobile, breaks, I will give you, let's say 25,000. So it's easier to communicate. And the other thing that has happened is on a digital platform, you can actually break down the features and the benefits in a very simple manner so that it's easy for customers to understand. And I think that is one of the strengths of some of these bite-size product constructs that we see in the market.
No, I think Bhargav put it very beautifully. The bite size is actually much simpler than the comprehensive one. Now, having said that, Nidhi, let me give you a very simple principle. I think it also surprises me when people talk of complication of GI products. Why it surprises me is that if we are aware of just one thing, anything which is damaged or has pre-existing, or where the loss has already happened or is happening, does not get covered. I think if this principally we understand this, then whatever you're buying for actually would be covered subject to some depreciation. Let me put very simple principle. Now, when you put these two sentences and apply it anywhere, you'll find that most of what you bought is actually covered for. The dispute starts happening for is when you go for these kind of segments in which you start feeling that the pre-existing should have been covered, or my previous damage should have been covered, or I paid the premium of 5 years, why should I get my previous damages happening? I think that is where dispute happens. Dispute never happens on the product. Never happens understanding. I think so. I think this also has been, which I say, a hurt of the industry. A lot of people say it's complex. And I ask them, okay, what's complex? Let's say in a motor car, what's complex? If your car meets an accident, whatever in the accident has happened will get paid. Now you have scratches in the car. That's not an accident. That's maintenance. So what's the complex part of it? Insurance companies will cover accident. Yeah? And anything in an accident will get paid. It's as simple as that. Health. If you have something of an illness which is already there with you, now, no company, typically would cover that. So it would just mean that when you bought a policy and anything develops later than that, gets paid immediately. So I think it is not very complex. Again, it's a mindset issue, which I strongly believe. And when Bhargav mentioned benefit policies, it's so amazing. You buy a policy, let's say dengue, or you buy for cataract, and if it happens, you get the full amount paid, no question asked. Where can you get such simple products, Nidhi? I think, again, this industry, as I always say, sometimes I get surprised. There's talk of complication. I ask people to tell me what's complicated in this. I think just the two sentences I mentioned to you, just keep that as a principle for any insurance, and name the product, and then see what is not paid. It's all paid. It's as simple as that. But bite size is actually more simpler, more easy, and more straight through, I think, because that's why bite size will work, or not work.
I think that's perhaps why what is adding to its popularity also, the simplicity in nature and also the utility. because of which we are discussing this topic also. So do you guys think that this kind of insurance is for everyone, or do you really think that it's only for a particular segment, maybe the younger generation who doesn't want to look at who's not ready to look at comprehensive covers yet? Maybe they should, but maybe they're not ready. Or that segment which is just ready for those low ticket size insurance policies. Bhargav, could you take that?
Yeah, so I don't personally believe that it's designed for a certain segment, but it's obviously the younger the millennials, the younger people who are actually more digitally savvy, using Ola, for example. When you have a ride-hailing service, anyone who uses Ola or Uber is buying, some of these, 1 rupee policies, etc., that you talked about, Nidhi. So coincident, I mean, given the nature of the customer segment that uses the fintech and the digital and e-commerce platforms, yes, you are seeing more younger population buying this. But it is not designed necessarily for just younger people. It is actually designed for anyone who uses those services, and there is a risk that they are bearing because of the use of those services.
So, Tapan, do you also think that it's meant for everyone? You of course mentioned that your daughter and you you are over-insured and you end up buying all kinds of policies. So it's pretty much out there. People like you and me, everybody should be taking up these policies when taking an Ola ride, or perhaps ordering in food.
Yeah, I think, and I look at my family, my younger daughter and my father, they are the most digital savvy people, I think.
Okay.
So I think, again, these are all now, I think when I listen, Nidhi, now and I look at experiences, I think the myths and the reality is very different. So I can guarantee my father can beat me to any kind of e-commerce sites, any purchases, any kind of ride-hailing taxis or Swiggy. I still am lost at it. So he tells me more about bike insurance than I can talk about from what is happening across. Or my younger daughter
That's
can.
interesting.
So when you look at the spectrum, I think they both are very powerful. The issue which comes through is that how are we as the industry able to put together things of interest for all spectrum? We should never think that the spectrum of customers would not be available. That's a myth. I don't agree. I think as an industry, how can we broaden the spectrum and how can we cater to every section of customers is what we should be working on. So, and the work is already happening. I can see a lot of products at different spectrums coming through. But I think we should cover the entire thing, not think that only the millennials. Now millennials also getting old now. I think we have to go to the next generation. No, I think
we have to talk about the Gen Z now.
Gen Z, exactly.
That also getting old now. So we talk Gen Z now. So we should actually cater to all spectrum, but we should not think that they don't. They all really understand and look at it very well.
So, summing up, is bite size here to stay? And what other innovations do you think are waiting in the wings?
Yeah, of course it is here to stay. And I think it will keep on increasing in size and scope. And as I said, as new use cases emerge, new, products, that people use emerge, new risks emerge, new products will get designed. And I think there is a scope for tremendous innovation in our country in terms of addressing very, very episodic risks of individuals and providing them through bite-sized insurance. I think, as long as the environment is open in terms of allowing these innovations, I think there's a tremendous scope for growth of some of these products.
So I think our industry that way is very lucky. We cover risks. And you see how risk keeps on evolving. So it's a never-ending process. So every third day you have a new risk. Now we thought when we started with the coronavirus, we thought a couple of months phenomena. Now it's year phenomena. Now we see people think it's going to stay a phenomena. So look at any risk, cyber risk which has come through, or it's constantly evolving. So imagine which industry can talk of on a monthly basis. You have something new coming up. If you look at catastrophic losses now happening, 5 in a year. When we were kids, when it was a rainy day, in 3-4 years' time, and school used to get closed, we used to get so excited. Today, even if floods happen, schools are getting closed. Times have completely changed, and every 3-4 months is happening. So, one, the options of creating something relevant for customers, solving some customers' worries or risk is always there. It's a continuous process. 2, the ease of process and the ease of getting claims and getting the customer delight is always there. It's a constant process. You need to keep on with the tech getting better every day. You keep on pushing yourself and keep on innovating to deliver on that basis. Third, with this bite size coming through, can you imagine, Nidhi, the plethora of insurances that can be offered? Well, if you tell me right now to start listing down bite size that we can offer between Bhargav, me and Anand, I promise you for the next 1 hour, we will not stop. No, from the same main products, we create 100 bite size products. No. Now, so the point is there's so much to do. And how do we spread the spectrum? How do customers relish what we are offering and see value in it? And how does it expand to the next level? Is there? So I think for our industry, there's never a dull moment, be it for innovation, for things to stay. And bite size is going to stay and is going to become more and more popular as time progresses because of tech usage. I think people will find relevance of a shorter duration products and they'll make it much more powerful, more beautiful.
My last question to sum up the session was that, what are the innovations that are waiting in the wings, and is bite-sized here to stay really?
Yeah, absolutely. And, I can't better what Tapan and Bhargav has said. They have put it so wonderfully because, see, bite size is a concept. It's not something that is, that is going to go away at all because it's a concept that's going to evolve. Now, probably it may not be 1 rupee, 10 rupees insurance. It may evolve into something, more contextual based on what the customer demands and customer needs are. And from a health insurance perspective, I would say that, definitely there are opportunities to sub-segment and categorize products and make cheaper offerings, so that affordable offerings, so that more and more people can come into the ambit of health insurance, whether it is in the semi-urban areas or within the urban areas itself. We can look at various kinds of offerings. There are OPD products and dental products which can be offered on the bite-size platform, and I think all of us are working on that. So as a concept, this is not going to go away. Most important is how can we ensure that the services are the promises that are made on the bite-sized products are kept up, so that the stickiness of health, the insurance itself will keep on improving going forward. And hopefully these bite-sized customers, in the long run, we will get more data as we go along, will become full-time comprehensive customers of having over insurance, as Tapan mentioned, and making sure that they get all in all comprehensive coverage in all segments of their lives. So that's what we are looking forward to.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for throwing light on this new area. A lot of people, they might be around, like you guys mentioned, that these policies have been around for long, but a lot of customers may not have known, before 1 or 2 years in the recent past. So thanks a lot for joining me on this discussion, and good day to you guys.
Thank you, Nidhi, for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Bhargav. Thank you, Anand.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.